All right, let's talk about space,
Ooh.
shall we? NASA, if you don't know, gearing up for two big missions right now. Joining us live is Dr. Jim Fanson from NASA. We're talking about two different missions. Let's start with SPHEREx here, Dr. Fanson. So SPHEREx will join NASA's fleet of missions looking at the cosmos. What are some of the big mysteries that scientists are hoping that this mission will unlock?
SPHEREx is designed to explore the origin of the universe, the origin and evolution of galaxies like our Milky Way galaxy, and the source of water on planets like the Earth. So we're going to be doing a new survey of the heavens, of the entire cosmic sky. We're going to map it in more than 100 colors, and that's going to allow us to, for example, map the three-dimensional distribution of about 400 million galaxies, and from that we'll be able to infer something about the physics in the very first instant after the Big Bang that formed the universe.
Wow. I mean, that's something that is just so like beyond comprehension for some people. You know, you're talking about the universe here and all the galaxies in it. This is why space is equally as cool as it is scary for me. I think that's kind of what I draw from that. You know, there's so much out there. So how will SPHEREx complement the impressive work being done by both the Webb and Hubble telescopes?
So the different telescopes that NASA puts into space have different strengths and capabilities. We're going to map the entire sky and generate a treasure trove of data that can be used for many different things. A telescope like the Hubble telescope and the James Webb telescope are like very long telephoto lenses to get very close-up views of specific objects. So things that we discover in the all-sky survey that are interesting will be followed up by telescopes like Hubble and Webb that will take a close-up look of individual objects.
Pretty interesting. So is what I'm hearing is with these new scans, then you'll be able to zero in with those telescopes? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, the telescopes are complementary. You know, it's like if you want to take a zoom telephoto lens of an individual person, you would use one kind of camera. If you want to take a wide angle picture to get the whole scene, you would use a different kind of camera. And the telescopes are the same way. They complement each other. They have different strengths and capabilities.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're looking at all these different pictures here of different cosmos, universes, galaxies. So how does SPHEREx look at the universe through rainbow-colored glasses, and what does that mean?
So that means that we look at the universe through filters that pass different bands of color to our sensors, or our photographic plate, if you will. So the way we survey the sky is we take a short integration, and then we move the telescope slightly, and we shift the scene onto the detectors, and the light comes through different filters, and we get different colors. And we step our way across the sky, and over 6 months' time, we can survey the entire sky, and we'll do that 4 times during the 2-year baseline mission of the project.
Wow, so each of those colors that is presented in all these different pictures that show different galaxies, cosmos, everything, what do those different colors represent? Are they different gases, temperatures?
So objects in the universe generate light in a wide range of colors. We are going to be looking in the infrared part of the spectrum, just beyond what the human eye can see. And contained in those different colors is information about the physics of what's going on inside or around the objects that are generating the light. So from that information, for example, we can determine the distance to galaxies, and we can make three-dimensional maps of how those galaxies are distributed.
Wow, that's so interesting. You know, one of the most notable things about this project, if you don't know anything about SPHEREx, is it's got a very interesting design. It looks like a cone. What's that reason for the design there?
So we're going into an orbit around the Earth, and the Earth is a warm object. And I mentioned that we're doing our survey in the infrared part of the spectrum. Infrared light is what's generated by objects that are warm. So in order to see the objects in the cosmos, we have to cool the telescope down to a very cold temperature. We're talking about hundreds of degrees below zero. We do that with these oddly shaped reflective surfaces that intercept the infrared heat and projected into space. So we have this very sophisticated cooling system that's completely passive. There are no cryogenic coolers or no refrigerators. We don't carry a thermos bottle of cold fluid. It's done completely passively with these interestingly shaped mirrored surfaces.
So when I see that too, something that I think about is how our eyes have cones
Well,
and
that's what I was
rods.
thinking too.
Exactly. Does that have anything to play into the decision of the shape?
The shape is really driven by how to reject heat photons, the photons that are generated by the warm telescope itself. So we call them V-groove radiators and photon shields. And there's a slight angle, wedge angle between these reflective surfaces so that a couple of bounces and the photons are completely rejected into space. So it's an innovative new kind of passive cooling system we're trying out on this mission.
Very cool. So how long will it take for SPHEREx to be complete in this map, and what will happen next after?
So we survey the sky every 6 months, and we will do that 4 times during the 2-year baseline mission. But because we're not carrying any consumables, there's no propellant, there's no cooling fluid we're carrying, we have the potential for a long extended mission. And so NASA has a system where missions that are nearing the end of their baseline duration can propose for extended mission funding. And if the vehicle is continuing to produce excellent science, we're confident we'll get an extended mission, and who knows how long the mission could go.
Oh, maybe one of those, elongated missions that we'll be hearing about something like this for years and years to come.
No, that's definitely incredibly interesting. I hope we are able to hear about it for years and years to come. Well, Punch will study the outer portion of the sun, the corona, to understand how solar wind forms as well, we understand?
Yeah, so the PUNCH mission is going to do a 3-dimensional map of the outer portion of the sun's atmosphere called the corona and how that generates the solar wind, which is a 1,000,000-mile-an-hour wind that flows out from the sun, which when it strikes the earth is what generates the auroras and things of that nature. So understanding our sun is also critical to our understanding of the earth and how the sun and the earth interact.
Yeah, so also coming up on a solar maximum with the auroras being so active recently, how does that play in with Punch being able to understand that solar wind?
So the sun goes through an 11-year cycle that is still a bit of a mystery. So there are quiet periods, and then there are very active periods, and we're in one of those active periods we call solar maximum. So it's an opportune time to have a mission like Punch launch into orbit to study this maximum period of activity, and it will help us piece together with other missions that are studying the sun, like the Parker Solar Probe, for example, to understand how the sun and solar cycle work and how it interacts with the Earth.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, we really do appreciate your time, Doctor, and of course, good luck on both of these missions, which I'm understanding they take off today, or when is the launch?
So the launch is not earlier than this Sunday.
Okay.
So we're very excited about final preparations for
For sure.
All right. Yeah, you guys have a lot of work ahead of you, and of course, we'll be looking forward to seeing the results of both of those missions. Doctor, we really do appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you. My pleasure.